Hey, this is Steve Spurrier. You can join University of Florida Hall of Famer Shane Matthews and also the two-time SEC Player of the Year every weekday as he brings you all you need to know about the Florida Gators, including news, analysis, opinions, and some of the biggest names in sports. You can find him on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Or you can watch him live at 8 a.m. on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitter.
You're looking live at Troon Golf Club in Scotland. Yeah. We are PodUp with Matthews in the morning from the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough to care. It is Friday. We'll have JC momentarily. Then we'll have Edgar Thompson. He's back from Dallas. We'll get his thoughts on the SEC Media Days. Now that it's all over, we're about less than 50 days away from kicking it off, I believe. Not a whole lot going on in the sports world. Baseball cranks back up today. The British Open is going on right now. Shane Lowry is your leader, but he is in trouble. He hit some in the gorse, and they can't find his ball. So let's go to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. JC, good morning. You're on the Titan MR hotline. What's happening?
How many balls did you hit in the gorse, QB?
That's a great question. And I was thinking about this the other day when we talked last week about the Renaissance Club.
Yes.
So when I went over there, JC, I was there for 7 days. When I got there, I want to say this was in 2000, 2007 or 8. The phones, I may have had a flip phone then.
Yeah.
I probably did have a flip phone.
Yeah.
I don't think you could take pictures on your phones then. I can't remember. So what I did was I went and I bought one of those, those yellow underwater Kodak disposable cameras.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
I've yet to develop the pictures.
Oh, QB. This is years ago. What?
Yes. So this is a picture of me and the Mannings, Peyton, Eli, Archie, and Cooper, and Griff, and some other people. So my goal, I don't know when I'm going to do it. I got to find the box where it is because I have it somewhere, but I want to see these pictures.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to see them.
So I can't remember how I played over there. I know you're going to keep the scorecards and all that nonsense. I didn't do any of that. I played pretty good though, if I remember correctly. I did play 72 holes walking in the same day.
That is quite an accomplishment. Well, QB, I'm over here in Denton, Texas, home of the North Texas Mean Green on a visit, and the area I went to a place called the Rally House. The Rally House is a store that has sporting goods and.
So you bought Pistol Pete.
They got me some Pistol Pete because Oklahoma State is my pick for the Big 12. Huge, big year for them coming. Juniors, seniors all over the roster. 10-14 last year. I think they can win it this year. But it's a good conference, Utah, Kansas State. So I'm in Big 12 country. But then I thought, wait a minute, I'm in SEC country here. There was Oklahoma stuff, there's A&M stuff, and there's Texas stuff right there next to each other. And then way over there in the corner, you got TCU, Baylor, Okie State. And it is really kind of hard to believe that this is, they had the SEC Media Days here in Dallas. I'm in Dallas, basically. It's really strange. I don't know. It doesn't quite feel like SEC country, but it will when they start kick off the football. And, Billy Napier, he was on the other day. I'm sure you talked about this yesterday on Thursday. I wasn't on. Talking about, listen, this is the deepest roster I've had, best team in 3 years roster-wise. We've got the most depth we've had. This is the deepest team I've had. We are on schedule in year 3 based on what we inherited. All of these things that he said was positive, and hopefully will give Gator fans some higher expectations, so to speak, because the expectation level is much lower than you would hope.
Yeah. I failed to mention, I meant to open the show with this. Our thoughts and prayers go out to Ben Sass and his wife. Ben Sass, if you missed it, is resigning as the president of the University of Florida to take care of his wife, who has had some health issues. He will still be teaching a class, and they're leaving. They're going to stay here in Gainesville. But he wrote this long, heartfelt note that was on Twitter. Don't blame him one bit. Low Bottom Sports brought to you by Quality Plum says, does a president of a university change a football program, or is that mainly the AD? It's a combination of both. But the AD works for the president. So if the president wants to get rid of the AD, he gets rid of the AD. So, and then he can hire a new AD to hire a new coach. So anyway, JC, I took a picture of this. Let me see if I can pull it up. Yeah, we'll talk to Edgar more about. Nothing came out of media days for any coaches. Our fan base on this program was very upset that Billy with coach talk, but pretty much every coach was that I saw. But this quote that Billy stated, I agree 1,000% with this, and this is not just from a Gator perspective. This is pretty much for any fan base out there regarding the schedule. The 2024 schedule says, I think some of the teams, quote, I think some of the teams that we play aren't the same teams that they had last year.
Right.
And we certainly are not the same team that we had last year.
Yeah, no, it's true. Nothing that Kentucky's done in the last 3 years has any impact or influence, I think, on the game they play this year on October 19th. Okay, when Kentucky plays Florida. Yeah, they've won 3 straight, but that doesn't matter when they come to the Florida field on October 19th. You know, you've got UCF as a team that I don't know much about, honest to God, and they're playing them here at home. You got Texas A&M that's in a coaching change, and, you know, they've got some good players, of course. Miami's in the same spot Florida is. It's a program that needs a big win to get things started. A lot of things are different, and so you're looking at schools and the names of those schools, and you're saying, oh, my God. But we don't know how these teams are going to play. Everybody's talking about Tennessee this, Tennessee that, going to 10-game win season, 11 wins this year. Tennessee, we don't know what that quarterback's capable of. We don't know how good he's going to be yet. Let me ask you this. Would you rather have a guy coming back like Graham Mertz, or would you rather be starting off a season with a guy named Nico that hell do I know he's going to play? I don't know. I'm sure Josh Heupel's going to coach him up, but Josh Heupel didn't coach up Joe Milton. Look how that disaster.
Well, I will say this. I've seen Nico play about 10 snaps.
Yeah, 10 snaps.
He's 1,000 times better than Joe Milton.
Okay.
I don't know. Well, I don't know why Josh Heupel. You know, if I'm their fan base, I'm going, you know, why the hell did you not play that kid over Joe Milton? So, real quick before we move on, today you have about 4 hours left, folks, for the Florida Victorious highly coveted ticket giveaway for the game in Austin, Texas. Remember the grand prize? You get 2 tickets to Texas, Florida, November 9th. You get a pregame party. You get to meet players. You get $1,500 for travel. You get free 3-day, 2-night stay, and a signed Trey Wilson jersey. So you go to this spotfund.com, join Florida Victorious. You get X amount of per dollar amount, but it should be that ticket's going to be crazy, I think.
I think it is too. That's coming off the Georgia game, the week after the Georgia game, November 9th, but it's a place nobody's gone to. Well, very few Gator fans have gone to. It's I've been once to this place, you know, and Texas is going to bring a lot. But what I really like, QB, is that the league has said you can do this, and nobody is going to fine you for it. You know, they don't. The sensitivities in this conference don't necessarily run as high as maybe they have over here in this part of the country, where if you did this, you know,
I mentioned yesterday, because I talked about it with Brent Beard.
You did?
You know, there's like 3 signals or signs that teams in the SEC use a lot. One's the Gator chomp. Now the horns down, and then the land shark. And I basically said, I think people make a big deal about it because I think it's silly. It's part of it. And I mentioned this the other day. If I had gotten blindsided sacked and a guy got up and freaking Gator chomped over me, I wouldn't give 2 cents about it. However, the offensive lineman would probably try to fight the guy.
Sure.
That kind of stuff does not bother me at all.
Right.
It's just it's no different than we sack a guy and we do the war chant or the whatever the hell they call it.
Or how about when you score a touchdown and you do this? Well, I'm
talking about that's your own team. They're talking about an opposing team doing it.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's for people to talk about on chat boards. We got a text here from Gator Guy on the Titan More text line. He says he's been up since 5 a.m. the last 2 mornings watching his favorite golf tournament.
Yeah.
How about Billy Horschel? 68 today. He's in 5th place. He's actually moved up since Gator guy sent this at like 4 o'clock this morning.
Wow, Gator.
Yeah. All right, we got another text here. This is not sure who this is from. Tommy in Savannah on the Titan North text line. Good morning, guys. I see Ben Sass is stepping down due to his wife's health. I hope UF can find someone to carry on his good work. I agree. Here's a Ponte Vedra Beach Bull Gator. He says JC Wolf Creek Golf Club in Nevada.
Yes.
I guess that's where he is. On an early morning, very cool. Put the 15th club in your bag, pint of blackberry brandy, and have the time of your life.
It's the most visually incredible and one of the hardest places you'll ever play golf. And let me just forward this information. When you get done at Wolf Creek, the second best one there is called Conestoga, and that is right next door. I mean, these courses are lined up right next door to each other, literally within 5 miles. Falcon Ridge, Conestoga, the Palmer course, and Wolf Creek is the most visually unbelievable golf experience you'll ever have, outside of maybe where you are there at Royal Troon or Muir Carnoustie. But when you talk about elevation, nothing compares to Wolf Creek in Mesquite, Nevada. Glad you're there. Have a great time, and don't worry about losing balls or looking for them. Snakes are everywhere. So just stay in the fairway.
Dan on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, wants to know if your Rangers game Sunday, JC.
Yeah, I'll be there on Saturday, Dan. Come on. Saturday night, 6 o'clock game. Orioles are in town. They start tonight, second half of the season. Baseball is exciting. In my opinion,
the Rangers are going to be what?
They're going to be buyers, not sellers at the trade deadline.
Oh, buyers. Buyers. I didn't know.
Buyers, yes.
Okay.
And they're going to try to win. They're going to try to win, defend the World Series championship. Got Wyatt Langford. I'm going to go scream at him because I'm literally sitting on the first row behind the Texas Rangers dugout on row 1. I'll be there. If you look at the television camera and they show a left-handed hitter, because I think the Rangers are on the first base side, I'll be the guy right back there with my Blue Rangers hat, my Blue Rangers shirt, and I'll be waving to Wyatt Langford the whole damn day.
Well, I'm going to be highly upset if you don't buy a Wyatt Langford jersey and wear it. You're a jersey guy, JC. You wear damn Dak Prescott jerseys. You wear Steven Stamkos jerseys.
Well, hockey jerseys are different. Everybody wears hockey jerseys to the game. Not everybody wears a baseball jersey to the game, but everybody wears hockey jerseys.
It's Wyatt Langford. Why wouldn't you go buy one? I know.
Why wouldn't I? Why wouldn't I, QB? You're right.
I mean, come on. In the meantime, Silverback Concrete builds firm foundations for generations. You stand on it. We stand by
think about it. The guy's a rookie. He's hitting 275, and he bats 4th in their lineup. That's unbelievable.
Yeah.
I think that's the case. So I'm excited about Saturday night. Globe Life, they have about 40,000 fans. It's not too big. The roof will be over our heads, so weather won't be a concern. It's hot here, man. It gets hot here. Oh my God,
it's hot everywhere.
But I mean, this is kind of hot where it's like you open the oven and you can feel the oppressive heat. It's just different. It's drier heat here.
All right, Barone. I'm going to read Barone's 3 comments here on YouTube by Quality Plumbing. He says, I'm okay with Coach Speak. I just wish Napier would acknowledge the importance of being the best program in the state first. Urban always spoke about how if you cannot be the best team in the state of Florida, you have no shot of being one of the best teams in the SEC. Now, back in those days, that is true. But in the last 10, 12 years, you could be the team in the state of Florida, and that doesn't mean you're going to be very good. He says, play good defense, no turnovers, score more points. My favorite coach speak. Laugh out loud. Yeah. Well, my coach speak for the year, I'm going to go ahead and get it out today, is play average or better defense. Yeah. And I'll be damned. The more I think about it, let's call some turnovers. When you only have 3 in 12 games, that is bad. And people talk about an offense not scoring a lot of points or being so-called explosive. If you get some short fields where you only have to go about 20 yards, that makes life so much easier on the play caller and on your offense. And we have not done that I mean, it's amazing we can't get turnovers.
Well, that's it. They were low on that in that statistic. I think the turnover ratio is always a big factor when it comes to determining how the flow of a game goes or who wins. And Florida's just not been part of that side on the good end. So maybe that'll.
Coy wants to know, QB, what would my song be if I was a wrestler or a politician? The one to run out, slide under the ropes, and immediately start going to town. That's a great question. I think okay, so I'm gonna go Morgan Wallen on you here for a minute. I think it's Broadway Girls. Is that the name of the song? He actually walks out to it, and he usually, wherever venue he's in, he has that coach or some athlete come walking out like he's a boxer. Speaking of him, he's having a concert at Neyland Stadium on September 20th and 22nd, JC. So I immediately went to their schedule. Okay.
Oh,
their last home, they have like 3 weeks where they're away with their bye week. But I am shocked that during football season, because they have natural grass, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. Yes, correct.
That they're going to have freaking 100. They'll have more than 100,000 people because they're going to be putting people on the floor in that arena for a concert, September 20th and 22nd.
20th and 22nd. So he's going to
September.
Yeah,
that's a Friday night and a Sunday night.
Really?
Yep.
Well, they're on the road. Okay, so the reason why, QB, is they're playing at Oklahoma on the 21st.
JC, I just said that.
Oh,
but
you did?
It makes but do you realize when you have thousands
They'll be gone
of people,
for a month. They'll be gone for a month.
It's natural grass, JC, because they put this stuff. They put like a tarp all the way around the entire field. Then they build the stage, and you got people trample. I'm shocked that they're doing that.
It's a month, QB. They can fix anything in a month. They've got.
What are you gonna do? You put new grass down?
Sure. They've got a game on the 14th, and then they don't play again at home until Florida. On the
right. But anyway, all right. Real quick, Shelvin says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel. Shane, respectively, for you to continue saying our corners are NFL corners, I know you're going to say pass rush, but what has Jason Marshall done to give you hope that he can be Lito or Joe Hayden? I'm not going to compare him to Lito or Joe Hayden, but he's an NFL corner. Just as I said that, the kid that threw the shoe, everybody didn't think he was very good. I said he will play in the NFL, and he's been starting for the damn Cardinals ever since he was a rookie.
Yeah,
Jason Marshall Jr. is an NFL top-notch corner, as is I'm losing my mind. I'm Devin like Joe Biden right now.
Devin Moore. You talking about
Devin Moore? Yeah, Devin Moore.
You're Joe Biden.
The concussions are killing me right now.
Oh, Jesus. No, listen, he was, what did he have? 23 tackles. It's hard to read this damn Phil Steele. The letters are so small in this book.
Yeah, he puts a lot of information in there.
It's packed, this book. Look at this book. But I maybe I need some reading glasses. Well,
you probably do, JC. You're old.
I'm old. Well, I don't feel old.
That's why I have to wear glasses so I can see.
Yeah. All right. Well, Devin Moore and Jason Moore.
They're both NFL corners.
There you go.
Okay. So Jerry on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, says, QB, will you study the roster for the first game to learn players and their numbers, or do you wait until game day and call what you see? I don't do any studying, Jerry. I watch a lot of football. I'll go to about 3 practices, and I'm really good with names and numbers for the most part. At least I used to be, but apparently this morning I'm not.
No.
So I don't have to study the rosters. I'll know who's who for the most part. Now, I'm not going to know who the damn left guard for Kentucky is because I don't really care.
You don't have to worry about that. Did you read Kanye Ron here talking about Napier's play calling? Did you read that one on YouTube?
I didn't. You want to read it for us?
Got to shore up the defense and not make any gaffes. I think the one issue with Napier's play calling was the quote-unquote ill-timed exotic play. What do you think of that, QB?
Well, of course, if it doesn't work, there's a problem there. If it works, everybody pats you on the back. I had zero problem with any of the timing of the play calls because I like that. As I said, it's easy to second guess when it does not work.
Okay.
Gene on Facebook Live just tuned in. Brought to you by
Gino.
Mellon Law. He says, is JC at a park today? Did he have Tiger making the cut at the Open?
No, and I tell you, man, watching Tiger's painful. He can't putt. His wedge play is garbage. He just doesn't play any tournaments, and you can't just stroll into one of the four majors and only play four tournaments during the year and stroll into one of the four majors and be effective. He doesn't play.
Not with how guys are today. There's too many good players in the world.
Right. No, he's just not. That's not Tiger Woods. That's not the Tiger Woods that we've all grown up watching the last 25 years. It's just a guy who's trying to play it out, I think. 15 will be his number. I never thought that stuck at 14 or 15 majors. And then when all the, hit the fan in 08, or I think it was 08, that's when it stopped for him. He was easy. He didn't do it. So 15 is where he's at. And it's unbelievable talent. So.
Yeah. It's he just can't play like he used to, but I mean it goes away. I mean the young guns are too good in today's world.
Well, they are, but he doesn't play. I mean,
right. You cannot play competitive golf. JC, you can speak to that personally. You cannot show up with a group that is very competitive and will get after your ass and think you have a chance unless you do it week in and week out. Dan Bond on Facebook Live says, as soon as someone blows an ACL on Tennessee's field after the concert, fans will be upset.
Well, maybe so. But I will tell you that the field people can get a field ready in a month. They can. They can, absolutely can. I mean, think about it. In the NFL, you have USF playing on Saturday night, and then the Bucks are playing the Falcons.
JC, we're not talking about playing a game back-to-back. We're talking about having thousands of people with a tarp over – think about when you put a tarp over, and I know nothing about growing grass, but it can't be good when you have tarp for 3 to 4 or 5 days over the grass with thousands of people walking around on.
I would be willing to bet they take the tarp off after the first concert, have that day off in between, and then stick it back.
No. JC, have you ever been to a concert?
You seem angry. I haven't.
Have you ever been to a concert? Do you realize the amount of people and timing and the construction figures that go on the field over the tarp?
No, sorry.
Okay, we're gonna have to get you out. You go to more games that are inside arenas than outdoor concerts, apparently.
I do. Yes, I do.
Kanye Ron says some writers think our O-line will be good this season and D-line will surprise some people. As I've said, our defensive line, our front seven has been not very good the last 3 to 4 or 5 years, not SEC caliber.
All right,
I think we've added some pieces this year to be better, but the O-line, according to Pro Football Focus, is the top 10 in America.
Oh, well, Beg and Megan disagrees. She says Florida's line of scrimmage is trash, horrible recruiting there, whatever.
Well, I don't know if it's horrible recruiting. As I just stated, Pro Football Focus, who most people respect what they do because they watch every play of every player, and the Gators added transfer portal players there, and they say that we have a top 10 offensive line. We will find out.
I want to see Damian George play better. He's a junior, though. He was an underclassman. He's now a junior. I'd like to see him play a little better. He's got the capability, but he needs to play better. QB. He was a turnstile last year.
Who?
Damian George.
He's a guard now. We added tackles.
Well, that's
all right. Buck brings up a great point on Facebook Live here.
Okay.
He says Morgan may end up canceling the concert anyway. He's good at that. He canceled one of them dang things when I was at Ole Miss.
Did not make you happy.
Oh,
lots of disappointed country music fans.
He made it up for it though. He canceled one in Tampa the other night. All right, this is Chris in Cottondale. Okay. He says, thanks, Shane, for hammering on JC's continuously throughout the year. He went from talking reckless rubbish to understanding the game better. If we can play solid defense with our QB returning, we can be much improved.
Without
JC is even more clueless about concerts than he is sports.
I plead guilty. Yes, concerts to me are just
JC, I'm gonna have to take you to a concert. You will be
Yeah.
hooked.
Would I
You will
really?
be hooked.
I don't know, man. It's just, listen, the thing is that, reckless rubbish. That's rubbish. I guess in the since it is the British Open, we do use the term rubbish now. Well, listen, I try, and I mean, I've been watching this stuff a long time too, dude. I just, I don't know. I just
Tony wants to know, and I'm about 1,000% sure I know the answer to this, Tony. You didn't go to Garth Brooks when he came to the Swamp, did you?
No.
Oh.
No. Why would I do that? I mean, that just sounds so boring to me.
JC, it's better than going to a sporting event. All right, here we go. This Day in Sports brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union. Put some star power to work in your financial life. Campus USA Credit Union. 2009 British Open at Turnberry. American Stuart Sink wins his only major championship.
Hated that.
And he won by 6 strokes in a four-hole playoff with 5-time champion Tom Watson.
Two things happened to that. Well, I don't want to regurgitate it, but I will. Basically, Watson bogeyed the last hole, and Sink made a 26-footer or 20-footer on his last hole, which was the same hole, to force that eventuality. He was going to win the British Open in his 60s. That's what I wanted to see. So.
Yeah. Low Bottom Sports says, QB, the O-line recruitment process has been subpar. Just take a guess on how many O-linemen the Gators have committed right now. I don't care if they had 42 committed. I don't care what happens next year. Here's what I will tell you. Has the O-line recruitment been great? No, because we've had one, I think, play in the National Football League or have an opportunity, and that's a kid that came from Louisiana.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
I agree. Again, we have to win football games. Yeah. If you win football games, kids will come.
Well, Sarkisian saw the same problem in Texas. Their linemen were awful. They went, I think, 8-5 his first year, or even worse. I don't know what it was. I can look it up, but I don't want to. But the reality is that their defensive line was a joke. Oklahoma ran all over them, and he knew that that's where he had to get better up front on both sides of the ball. And now look at Texas. Texas is predicted to play for the national title possibly this year. So it starts there, QB. You know that. I mean, I don't have to tell you anything you don't
know. No. Like I said, when I look at the Gators schedule, there's 2 teams on there.
Yeah, Texas.
I think are clearly better than us, that we have no chance of winning unless the ball bounces our way and the other team turns it over a bunch. And that's Georgia and it's Texas. Other than that, it's free game, bro. Let's go play.
Yeah. Well, you're one of those 90s Gators, and 90s Gators did not really look at schedules. They just went out and played the game. And
well, I can promise you the 2024 Gators are going to go play as hard as they can, regardless of who's wearing a different color helmet. Okay.
Right. Yeah. Well, they will. They will. It won't be easy to win in Knoxville, though. Nobody's delusional. It won't be easy to win at home against LSU either, or Mississippi, or at Florida State.
It's not. Here's the thing: is and I didn't realize this until we talked about it yesterday. Georgia is going for their 4th straight 12-0 regular season record. I mean, think about that in the Southeastern Conference. Okay.
Yeah.
Georgia ain't going to run through this league this year either. It's the SEC, man.
Well,
it's hard. It's hard.
The schedule is going to be a little tougher for Georgia.
To do it 3 years to go undefeated is. I don't even remember Alabama doing that. All right, JC.
I have to look back.
What are you doing today in Texas? You gonna go on a hike? What are you gonna do?
Well, I'm gonna go watch the British Open here while everybody's sleeping back in the house. I'll watch the British Open out here on the porch with a nice cold BAI drink. I'm gonna go to meet a friend of ours named the Ack. I'm gonna go see the Ack down in Frisco. See him, visit with him, go visit with the daughter, and just kind of visit. And then tomorrow it's game time, and then back on American Airlines. Hopefully the glitches will be all worked out with the airlines. They had a terrible morning today with a big computer issue with all 3 airlines. Thank God I wasn't in the airport today. Fly back on Sunday, and then I'm done traveling until August the 17th, when I'll be going to where you are, right there across the pond in Scotland. So I'll be looking forward to staying home for about a month.
Yep. I got to read this comment here.
Okay.
This comment here, where is it? I want it to come up. There it is. So Shelvin says, I have a dream. I want to post on a Monday in mid-October that Shane was 100% about Marshall and that I know nothing. I'm totally serious. Look, Sheldon, you may know football, but I can tell you right now, he is an NFL corner and he will be making a lot of money on Sunday. That's all I can say. Okay. I mean, that's a fact. If I'm wrong, I will sit on this show in 3 years or 4 years from now and admit it, because nobody's ever right on these predictions of players, of records, or whatever. But my eyes tell me that dude is pretty good.
Yeah.
The average person sees him give up throws. Sometimes those aren't his fault. Sometimes it doesn't matter who is covering when your front four can't they rush the passer like JC.
Right. It's awful. Yeah. It would help these guys on the edge if anybody would force the quarterback to be uncomfortable. It would just really be great. Or stop the running game. You know, when these guys have to come up for run support, it's tough to cover some of these receivers, man, because these guys can't tackle in the front seven. You know, my God, get it right, dude. I think that it can't. Let's just let it like this. It can't get worse on the defensive side. So that's something you can look for.
It can't get worse.
It cannot get worse. This school right over here in Denton. We'll get it right, man. They're going to get it right. They realize their jobs depend on it. They're going to do it. I think they're going to be fine.
Oh, just got to go play. All right, JC, have a good week. We'll talk to you soon. SJC joins on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. Take a quick timeout. Come back. We're joined by Edgar Thompson. Get his thoughts on Dallas, Texas, and the SEC Media Days.
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
We want to take this moment to thank all our sponsors who keep the show going and pay the bills. Our premium sponsors are Crime Prevention Security Systems, Titan MRI, Meldon Law, Peachland Dental, QC Kinetics, Campus USA Credit Union, Dave & Buster's. Our Gridiron sponsors, Sutter Pro Painters, Comfort Temp, UF Bookstores, Quality Plumbing, Silverback Concrete, Ruse Ogre State Farm, Tropical Smoothie Cafe, F45. Our touchdown sponsors are Gator Dominoes, Celebrate Primary Care, Gator Bait Media, Okido America, Style Cuts, Ironwood Golf Course, Big Mills Cheesesteaks, McDonald's of Gainesville, 84 Lumber, Dowling Signs, Baker's Sporting Goods, MG&A Wealth, Nest and Wild. Again, thank you for all the great businesses that support the show. Please remember, if you like what we are doing here, thank our sponsors and support the businesses that support us.
All right, team. Spurrier's Gridiron Grill gift cards. 20% off. On one. Ready. Break.
Score big with the Foodie Fans during our Christmas in July special for a limited time.
Just until the end of July.
Use code GC20 to get 20% off any gift cards for Spurrier's. Good for food, drinks, and merchandise. Stop by Spurrier's in Celebration Point or go to Spurriers.com and send an e-card with a few quick clicks. Use code GC20 and get 20% off. A Spurrier's gift card will have any Gator fan cheering like it's 1996. Go to Spurriers.com right now and get your gift card today.
Welcome back to the Crime Prevention Security System Studios, large enough to serve you, small enough. This is a team of dedicated insurance professionals ready to help life go right with the right insurance options for you. And visit ogreinsurance.com. Give them a call at 352-240-1779. We're going to go back to the Titan MR hotline, courtesy of Comfort Temp. We're joined by one of the best in the business, Edgar Thompson. How you doing, my man?
So I walked in on some golf chatter. I thought that was on air.
It was not on air. It was with my golf group. I was telling JC.
I heard.
Coach Deacon was getting ready because he's playing today, Saturday and Sunday in the Florida Open, which he's won multiple times. But he's played with us. I mean, he plays with us all the time when he's not recruiting and working. But I had him, JC. Edgar. I had JC. I was even par through 12. He was 3 over because he took a triple on number 10. He hit it dead right out of bounds and made a triple. And I'm like, I'm going to beat him and I'm going to make him sign the damn scorecard today. I'm going to beat him off the stick. And then I went to 13, terrible drive, double. 14. Terrible drive. You can't miss it right, especially where the pin was. Double. Then I went bogey, bogey. And so I shot, what is it, 6 over just for those 4 holes. And he got me. So, but anyway, on the Titan Martell says, I asked one of the Gainesville media guys yesterday if Florida went 8-4, would they make the playoffs? He said that would have to happen. I'm going to say they do. Morgan Wallen will tell the Tennessee administration he had some help. He didn't make this mess all by himself. Yeah. All right, Edgar, how you doing, my man?
I tripled 14 Saturday, but one birdie, birdie, bogey, birdie. And then we were going to win some money on the phone. Didn't realize one of the guys got a stroke, so I really got aggressive with my putt and ended up 3-putting.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was fun. I'm ready to play, man. After the other day, I actually played some good golf for once, but it doesn't sound. It sounds like you're out of my league. You're gonna give me a lot of strokes.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the golf's the greatest game there is because you can make it fair.
Yeah.
All right.
8-4, they're not making the playoff, by the way.
I bet they do.
Dang, they do. They're not going 8-4 anyway, but they're not.
You never know. You never know. John says on Facebook Live, brought to you by Mel Law, Edgar, it sounded like there was a lot of coach speak in Dallas. What was your biggest takeaway from SEC Media Days?
I think you kind of nailed it. They could go 8-4, first off, but I think the playoff will be. It could be tough to be a 4-loss team. There might be a 3-loss team flipping into that.
Right, but did you see the we talked about it last week or 2 weeks ago. I took it off of Twitter. There was some website that does basketball tournament,
sure,
due to strength of schedule and all that nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
And categories, 8 wins, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 13. And there was only one team, if they got to 8 wins, would be an at-large team, and that was the Gators. And there was about 10 to 12 teams at 9 and 3. So, I mean, we'll see.
It will sure make it interesting because I could see Florida being 6-1 going in November. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure. I think that's what's going to happen, but they could be that. And then every week is really interesting from there on in with that gauntlet of a schedule. So I hope that's what happens. It would be fun to cover. Yep. But I'll say this for point the caller made. It's what it is. Media days, it's coaches are increasingly guarded. They don't want to say anything. There's so much money now. There's so much exposure. They don't want to make any missteps, verbal missteps. The only one who's going to get up there and say anything is Kiffin. And I wasn't there Monday. And he's fun. Did you see him going after Bomb on his show?
Yeah.
He's like talking about how he said his career was over. He was ripping Miley Cyrus. He's like, you get anything right, Paul? Is there anything you say that's ever correct? It was pretty funny. But yeah, Billy, he's got he's saying what he's saying. The systems are in place. He feels confident in the roster. It's the best roster he's had, which is obvious, we all agree. More depth, more competition. He's extremely happy to have Graham Mertz back leading the way. And he just sticks to these themes. And I don't know what else he's going to ask him a question. Well, I spoke to him in Gainesville, Ponte Vedra, Destin, and then 5 times in the spring. What am I going to ask him now? I just want to see the team practice a little bit. And really, I'm just ready to get to games already.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. Dan wanted to know, what did you think of the Omni and the location overall for Media Days?
It's pretty restrictive. 2 years ago, I followed Anthony Richardson around the entire day, his whole 10, 12 interviews, and wrote a story about that. And it was fun. And it was a good story and got some really good color. I wanted to follow Billy a little bit. Kind of wanted to see how he was received by the media. You couldn't go anywhere. I mean, so it was very restrictive. The ballroom was nice and it wasn't freezing. Like I tell you, man, they freeze you out in Hoover, man. I took a turtleneck. I mean, literally, I had a stocking cap and a turtleneck in my back because it's just
That's
like
funny.
they will freeze you out. Now, and the food was good, but the setting's fine. It is what it is. We used to go 4 days. I went for 2 this time. You don't get a lot out of it. Now, I got a kind of a story I'm going to write here in a bit that worked out kind of well. I'm going to write on Texas coming to the league, right? And how these two mega brands, their players are like, hey, man, being in the SEC makes our brand even bigger. OU's big, and now it's bigger. And that's something to say. That tells you the power of the SEC there.
Yeah, I agree with that. Kanye Ron on YouTube, brought to you by Quality Plumbing, says any Gator practice scrimmage is open to the public in August. I would say no.
We haven't seen the schedule. They probably not. They might do one practice last year.
Yeah, they may have
Like August 5th.
Yeah.
I think August 5th last year they did a practice. They might have one.
Yeah. Barone 71 says, I'd like to say 8-4, but Napier game day coaching has not impressed me enough to say Florida won't drop a game they shouldn't win. So I'll say 7-5. Yeah. Is like I've screenshot the quote that Billy made, and whether Billy made this quote or Tom Laney or Nick Saban, I've people that watch my program that follow the Gators. I talk about positivity, quit being negative because you're not doing any good for the program or the team or coach or whatever. Support your team. But when he says about the schedule, he says, I think some of the teams that we play aren't the same teams that they had last year. We certainly aren't the same team that we had last year. I agree 1,000% with that. Okay. And that's why I think it's his best roster that he's had here. If we can play average defense, I say it every day. I tell people the key to this season is play just average on defense, and you'll win more games. And maybe get a few turnovers. When you can only have 3 turnovers in 12 games, that is unheard of. You don't give your offense any short fields to go up 2 score. Never do that. And it's all about defense. But I know the schedule on paper is hard, but I think there are 2 teams that are no chance of beating Edgar. And maybe I'm living in la la land, but I really believe that we can beat the other 10 teams on the schedule. Not saying we will, but I think they will be extremely competitive games.
Did you see Nick Delatorre ran a simulation of EA Sports against the Gators?
No, I know nothing. This is a video game, right?
Yeah, it's a new thing. Everybody's way too questions about a video game.
Yeah.
But it was a cool story. And it was one simulation. You got to run like sample size. It's accurate. But they went 8-4. Okay. Beat Georgia. Lose to Miami in the opener. Beat Georgia 36-27. They hold Ole Miss to 14-6 in the swamp. I don't see that. But they lose at Florida State. They lose at Texas. Close game. Lose with Miami and maybe at Tennessee 20-13. Or no, they lose to LSU. I think but whatever it was, I don't have it in front of me. They went 8-4. It was kind of fun. And they had a 42 double overtime game against Kentucky in the swamp. That could be pretty, but we'll see. But again, all this stuff's just talk. Now, to the point of our listener, I agree. Billy's got to show some coaching this year that I haven't seen yet. He's managing games. This is, zigging when the defense is zagging. I know you think his play calling's fine. Mm-hmm. I think there was many examples of where very conservative, if not questionable at times last year. That's in my opinion. I don't know all the decisions are made. They seem to be very good on script early in games. when things get off script, things don't look quite as, let's say, I think we're going to find out a lot about Billy's coaching. Got a much better team. And to your point on turnovers, yeah, they had 7 turnovers, 3 picks is what it was. 7 turnovers is not going to get it done. Right?
We got 7 turnovers last year?
7, 3 interceptions.
It was 3 interceptions. I got you.
But that's not going to get it done. And
No.
what was it last year? Ole Miss, great example. Did it win 11 or 10? 11, I think. So
Yeah.
they had plus 11 turnover margin and won games, 4-0 in 1 possession games. That's how you go 11 wins. And
same way with Missouri. Missouri had like 6 wins that were like 5 points.
No, they were 4-0, 1 possession, 4-0. Missouri and Ole Miss, they led the SEC 4-0 in 1 possession games. But what I'm saying is you got to win the close games. You got to generate turnovers to have those special seasons.
Yes, I agree 1,000%. And I agree with everybody about Billy's questionable stuff here and there. But I think, like I told you, even though he's the guy in charge, I feel like the guys that were responsible for certain parts of the game management stuff are gone. They're gone. And it should be better this year.
Who calls timeouts?
It's a little bit of, okay, I get that. It's a little bit of everything. And see, here's the other thing I'd like to explain.
There's a lot of that.
Yeah, but here's the thing. People talk about trying to score before the half or the 8-minute deal and all this stuff.
Yeah, the middle.
I think people forget, as a play caller and the guy in charge, you're trying to win the game. Sometimes, as bad as your defense is, you play keep away. You are very methodical because you don't want your defense on the field when they're historically bad, pathetic. Okay, so there's a lot more that goes into than just being aggressive. And let's call a timeout here to try to put points in the guy. But there are times, there have been multiple teams that I've been on, and you go, okay, how are we playing defensively? Where's the ball? How much time is left? What's the situation? Are we down 2 scores? Are we down just 1 score? Are we get coming out of the second half? There's a lot that goes into that thinking. And whether Billy made the right decision or the wrong decision, that's his decision. But you can see where he's coming from depending on the situation. So we'll see how it goes this year. But I understand when you have 3 timeouts and you get the ball on your own 15-yard line with 1:20 left before the half, do you want to try to be aggressive and score? Or do you want to run the clock out and go into half and not anything bad happen? I think you have to take everything into consideration of how the game is going. I'm just rambling. I'm just giving people.
No.
This is
You're
stuff,
making.
this is stuff that happens on a daily basis in every meeting with the coaching staff. Let's be honest. As much as I love throwing the football and being aggressive and stuff, there are times last year, you can go back and listen to the broadcast with Sean. I was like, can we take a knee here and get to the half? Do not take a chance because we can stop anybody.
This is not even all what I'm talking about. I mean, yes, after that great second quarter, they never looked close to that the rest of that game. Good game too. That was their best in a lot of ways. If not, probably it was their best game.
It was a very good game.
But the second half, it was just like
a lead. You don't have a very good defense.
Well,
there's times when you can shorten the game. There's the bottom line was to win.
They needed a lot of help from Tennessee in that second half. Tennessee screwed. I think you're saying get to 120 with 3 timeouts. When's that ever happen?
No, I'm using that just.
But they are blowing timeouts all the time, man.
Well, sometimes if it could be the first series.
I'm just saying I don't want to see as much of that.
I agree, but
some of that you can't expect perfection, but there's got to be just a smoother operation, man. I mean, they came out against that Utah game last year, and you were just sitting here going, they the last 6 months putting this out.
The Utah game was terrible. I'm not going to argue with that.
That's what I'm saying. We can't see any more of that.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying. That's it.
No, I agree. But I think sometimes, even when you're discombobulated, and it could be the first series of a game, it could be the Miami game, we may have to call a timeout. You rather have, depending on the situation, you may want to call a timeout there, and then people raise hell, but you needed to call timeout there because you could be calling a play in the huddle, or now it's the coach communication. The system goes, and they're not communicating. There's a lot of things that are involved in play calling, game day operations. And I'm not making excuses here. I'm using that for everybody. We watch the Gators. This happens on other teams as well. We just don't follow them.
No, there's no doubt. Remember when Nick Saban got skewered for screwing up timeouts?
Yeah.
In that game, I forget what game it was. So you can't expect perfection. I don't demand that, but there needs to be roster. The line's going to protect Mertz, which is going to be critical. He got sacked 5 times in the Utah game. He was chased all year. I think there were like 6 or 7 games where he was sacked 3 times at least. That didn't get it done. They got to run the football better, and as you say, defend better. So, yeah. and then the special teams should be better. I mean, you have a great kicking game and punting game, right? Those guys are good, elite. I think Smack and Cross-Shot. Yeah. And Joe Houston apparently.
No, I think he's made great additions in the staff, and I think they've made crucial additions that were definitely needed on the defensive ball. Now, whether those kids come in and make a difference, I think they're better than the players that they are replacing, way better than the players they're replacing on defense.
And I think Devin Moore is going to be healthy, and I think he is. I put him my 6 DB.
He's good.
I think he could be their best DB. And I think Cam Jackson has a lot of potential if he stays in shape.
And have they come out with the media's preseason picks? Has that come out publicly?
It coming out here in a little bit. It'll be interesting to see where the Gators fall. It might come out at 11.
Yeah, I want to say last year on the top 3 teams, we didn't have anybody, did we?
There was those teams, if there were any, I don't remember completely.
Yeah,
but
I don't think we'll have many this year either.
Probably not. The league, look, it's a stacked league, as we were saying about Texas, Oklahoma's, and now and Texas is excellent. And Oklahoma's got some couple All-American type players. Billy Bowman, the safe for one. So yeah, it's an extremely deep and talented league with a lot of star-studded coach. Billy certainly is not arrives to SEC media days. I don't want to say as an afterthought, because he was, as I wrote, I think he was probably under the microscope on DeBoer. He's the Alabama guy now, obviously. So that's number one. But there's a lot of chatter around Billy, and a lot of media people were talking to me about what do I think, and some people are already totally out on Billy. Yeah. I'm not, but some people are like, they think they've seen enough. I think this is the pivotal.
It definitely is, and I'm a firm believer of this. If I'm right or wrong, we'll find out. And I say this every day on my show because I'm trying to get some positivity into people's lives. Because all they want to do is complain and be negative. And I'm like, that does nobody any good. Whether Graham Mertz, whether you like Shamar James, they're going to be on the field for the Gators for 12 games. You either root for them or find another team. And I firmly believe unless we go 0-12, he's going to be your coach next year because we can't afford a buyout.
Well, I'll tell you, Ben Sass is sudden retirement. Mm-hmm. Probably secures that too, barring really crazy season with all kinds of, chaos and drama. Bring a new president here who's got to learn the lay of the land and is going to fire a football coach. Right. I mean, that doesn't seem that would happen. But that was kind of a stunner, and that came out last night.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't blame one bit. And
well, I don't either. But there are Democrats that I know one guy who is a big Democrat, big Gator, Bull Gator, and we were talking about Sass. He goes, he's the best thing to happen to UF in years. So he's blurred political lines because when he first came in, there was a lot of that pushback because he's a Republican, and DeSantis and him are close or aligned, and right, protests and all this. A lot of people had come around on Ben Sass, and despite party affiliation, so it's a big loss for Florida, University of Florida, for him to step down.
Yeah, I was a big Ben Sass guy. Met him a couple times. Just
brilliant.
Love the way he thinks and the things he did for us. All right, Edgar, we're out of time already. Let everybody know how they can follow you on Twitter.
He thinks a lot more clearly than us. OS Gators is my Twitter handle. I see you got the British Open behind. I tell you, it's 25 there right now.
Time to watch it. Edgar, have a great weekend. We'll talk to you next week, my man. Live a healthier lifestyle with our bold, flavorful smoothies, our amazing food. Tropical smoothie. When you eat better, you feel better. Hope everybody has a great weekend. Appreciate JC and Edgar for joining us on the Titan More Hotline, courtesy of Comfort. All the British Open and other stuff on Monday. Take care.